What's poppin', everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video topic is here, let me readjust the camera. There you go. We're gonna be talking about how to properly save money. And yeah, if this is your first time here, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button down below. During inflationary times like we're facing right now, you got the war going on that just kicked off in Iran. What's going on over here? And anyway, so no one seems to be talking about how to properly save money, and you tune into the right channel, because I'm going to show you guys how I've been saving my money, or how I save money, right? My method of saving money. And yeah, and the reasoning behind that. So everyone knows out there that keeping, if you keep a stash of cash under your pillow, under your bed, is losing value by the day, by the minute, by the year. Everyone knows that. Or if you have it in a savings account. What's the next best thing out there that most people know? CDs. You throw your money into the market and you lock your money into a CD. You get, I think they're offering 4%. But since we're going through inflation is like at 6%. So you still losing money, and you can't pull it out, which is even worse, right? Then you have the stock market. Once you have a certain amount of savings and you have excess capital, or just more disposable income, you start facing these problems where it's like, oh shit, where do I put my money? And well, at least me, right? Where I'm in a position where I don't want to put my money in a bank. You know what I mean? I don't want the fucking rest of the world knowing how much money I have, where do I have it. Fucking if somebody decides to sue me, my ex-wife decides to sue me, and they find it, and I bring that up because these are outside forces that you guys have no control over. And, or just ex-business partners, somebody decides to sue you because you're doing good, or because they perceive you as doing better than them. Or someone wants to rob you. Doesn't matter what it is, right? And we live in this world, right? I also want to make this clear. We live in this world where there's like a negative stigma tied to the fact that you don't want your savings or your money in a bank account. Like you're perceived as like a criminal because you don't want the banks knowing how much you have, because they're mandated to report to somebody else, and then that somebody else can. You guys know where I'm going? You guys get where I'm going with this? Anyways, yeah. So, and it's the same thing with the stock market, right? Where if you put money in there, essentially everybody knows. Everyone knows that how much you're worth, right? Your net worth, and I honestly believe that a part of your net worth has to be in secrecy. Why? Because why the fuck does the rest of society and these systems, and keep in mind, I'm a big capitalist. I love capitalism. Capitalism is what allows us to be productive, and if you come up with a good idea, or you're more productive, or you come up with a system that's more productive than the rest of the world, you're compensated very well, and as you should. But the fact that anybody could just, look how much you're worth, and I'm saying this because I know people who, I know people who, in all aspects of life, people who are up there and with some powerful titles, if that makes sense, and just regular people like you and me. And if it's on a digital platform, or if if there's a record of it, then people know, or that the information is out there for you to how do you say this? For them to find out everything about you, if that makes sense. So enough of that, right? We already got that out the way. We don't want nobody knowing nothing, right? And it's okay to fucking be secret. Excuse my language. I'm gonna try not to curse, but it's okay not to. It's okay to be secretive. It's okay to say, you know what? No, I don't want the rest of the world. I don't want the government. I don't want. Hold on, I gotta pull over. I don't want certain individuals, these institutions, to know exactly to the dime of how much I'm worth. It's okay. And I don't know why people get this negative stigma or just this negative like, oh my god, you're hiding your money, oh my god, fuck, it's somehow illegal, right? Enough of that. We're gonna talk about how to hide your money, right? Check this out. We're in government housing. This is what government housing is. You know, I'm gonna out here. I used to have a friends. I used to come out here as a kid. If you don't know nobody out here, you don't want to be out here, especially at night. It's calmed down throughout the years, you know, but as a kid, you know, I have friends growing up out here. They call it the projects, right? Government housing. And yeah, look, check out that Malcolm X mural to the right. But yeah, this is a real neighborhood. Anyways, so yeah, so there's this nigga. So what's worked for me, right? Because, you know, some people might say, you know what, I want to save my money, but the stock market, you know, a lot of people, they don't understand the stock market. The stock market is purposely overcomplicated, so the average individual doesn't know how to invest in it, what to do. So you guys are pretty much, you know, losing money on the stock. I know, losing money on the stock market, right? Most people who are in the stock market, they don't make money. I know this because I used to be in the stock market, and I've had really, really good gains. For the past 5 years, I've had over 47% gains. So I know what I'm talking about, you know? And I know what I'm talking about because I sit there and I do the math. And even though I have 47% gains for the past, let's say, 5 years, I've still lost money. How? I'm gonna explain it to you guys. Anyway, so yeah. So how do you save, right? I'm gonna try to cut this video short. So the reason why you guys can't save, or it's hard for you guys to save, or you might face a problem where you're saving. Let's say you want to buy a property or put a down payment on a house. Like out here, we're in San Francisco. This is Bernal Heights. These are $1 million homes. And if you're just like an average worker making, let's call it less than 100 grand a year out here, 20% on a down payment for a property out here, that's a lot of money. You know, that's like 200 grand kind of money, you know. And when you're going through inflation and all these outside forces and just that are working against you, you'll never be able to save yourself up to that point, right? And with the cost of living, everything rising and all that, it's how do I say this? It's like you going on a hamster wheel spinning in circles. And I know why that happens. That happens because you guys don't know what money is and currency is. And it's that simple, you know, where you guys are saving currency instead of saving money. Money is the greenbacks, the blue strips, the $100 bills. You guys throw it in a bank and let it sit there, or throw it into a, let's call it the S&P 500, right? And you let it sit there and say, you know what? I don't know nothing about stocks or bonds or the stock market. I'll just throw my money into the which is understandable, right? I'll throw it into the S&P 500, and it's like a savings account. Theoretically and on paper, that's been true for the past, let's say, 50 years. Look how beautiful it is today. I'm gonna park down. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna come exercise out here for a quick jog. Get some sun, some vitamin D. I like to exercise, right? Anyway, so that's the major difference. You guys are confusing money with currencies. See, the currency is issued by the government, right? And the only reason we're allowed to go, or where we can go and buy things with the $100 bill out in the stores, because everybody agrees, you know, there's an agreement. Hold on. What the fuck is it doing? Hold on. I was about to. Anyways, you saw that motherfucker on the wrong side of the road. Anyways, excuse my language again. So, the fact that you guys don't understand what the difference is, check out that view, is why you guys are spinning in circles. So, what's the difference? So, what is money, right? Money has always been gold. Gold, most people don't know how to buy gold. Matter of fact, even the boomers nowadays that are still around who remember when we went away from the gold standard. Check that out. That's the Salesforce Tower. That tower is huge. They have like a park on top of the tower, and I've been to it. It's pretty dope. It's pretty badass. Check it out. Where's the Transamerica building? Let's see if I can see it from here. Oh, yup. The pyramid right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. Anyways, so gold and silver. You know, gold has always been the money, and silver has always been the money of the poor people. And they've convinced us to forget about it. See, gold up to today, and silver, I think gold is up 20 some percent. So is silver. Silver's up like 19%. I've already outperformed the S&P 500, and the third quarter is not even over for this year. And from an investment perspective, right? I'm not talking about through an investment perspective lens, but through money wise, I've been able to, you know, protect my purchasing power throughout the years due to the fact that a lot of my savings has gone into gold and silver. So think about it, right? So if I bought some gold in 2020, I think in 2020 it was around $3,000 or $2,000, or I forget. I haven't looked at the charts, but anyways, I still have the same purchasing power. Let's say I have a gold coin from 2020, and I can buy this. You know, I can. How do I say this? So let's say I got a gold coin from 2020, right? That I purchased in 2020. The purchasing power of that coin or that gold piece has remained intact to this day. If I would have had that same amount in dollar bills, those dollar bills, you know, they would evaporated a lot of purchasing power, and that's because they've been printing a shit ton of money. And if you guys don't understand the difference between fiat currency and actual hard money, gold and silver has always been. You hear on the news, oh, buy Bitcoin, buy this. They flood you guys with information, useless information that doesn't benefit you guys. And right now, where gold and silver sits, gold years back, it was still price. The price of gold was still. How do you say this? What's the right term to say this? It was still. Mm, Damn, I had a brain fart right now. It was still accessible to the average individual like you and I. Now it's at $5,000 an ounce. Call it 5,000. The average individual has been priced out of gold, not with silver. Silver a year ago, if you would have bought gold, silver a year ago, you could have got it for $30 an ounce. Now it's sitting like around 80 to 85. Let's call it 80. Today I saw the price of silver. I think it was around 83 or 84. But that's not the point of this video. The point of the video is that that my purchasing power has been protected throughout the years, if that makes sense. You don't have to believe me. The S&P 500, I try to price things in gold now because, like I said earlier, gold has always been the real actual money. And when you price things in gold, you come to realize how much money they've really been printing, how much they've been lying to us, and how much bad in a bad financial system this country really is. Because once you price things in gold, you can't hide the fact that things ain't really looking too good out there. What do I mean by this? Do a simple test. Let's call it 10 years ago. And price the S&P 500 in gold. How do you do this? So pretty much you look up what was the S&P 500 trading at, let's say in 2016, let's call it 10 years ago, right? So in 2016, how many ounces of gold did you need to purchase the S&P 500 back then compared to today? And if the amount of gold is less now than it was then, what does that tell you? It tells you, yeah, the numbers may look like they're going up, but they're actually coming down. And on paper and on the screen, it looks like look, the S&P 500 went up. It went up. But once you price it in gold, that's how you really find out if you're being ripped off, if you're being scammed out of your money. And I'll leave it at that. And that's how you save money. Start collecting gold, start collecting silver. If you don't know how to do that, let me know. I'll drop a comment down below. I'll probably do a video guide on how to properly do that, because you don't want to just buy gold from anyone or any website or anything, because they're gonna, you're gonna get ripped off. Anyways, that's it. See you guys next time. And hit that like, subscribe button down below. Peace.